What's going on, YouTube? BryceCrispy94 here, bringing you another Icons of the Realms opening, and we are foregoing our normal Icons of the Realms box opening today in favor of Icons of the Realms, Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avernus, Arkhan the Cruel, and the Dark Order. If you're like me, these last few weeks you have been spending most of your free time playing Baldur's Gate 3, and since there's no Baldur's Gate 3 minis, I went ahead and picked up the Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus set, because the game's amazing. This book is very different from the game, but there are overlapping characters, overlapping areas, and yeah, stuff like that. So I thought it'd be kind of a nice little tie into something pretty relevant. But this is a pretty solid set. I picked it up on Amazon for like 30 bucks, I think, which is a pretty good deal considering there's two large figures and four, excuse me, small figures in it. Let's go ahead and pop it open. Actually, let me read this back here. It says, "Hell awaits. The blood war rages on as Tiamat's general, Arkhan the Cruel, descends into Avernus, triumphant with a dangerous artifact that could ultimately free her and wreak havoc over the realms." For those of you that don't know, Joe Mangelina, yeah, I think that's it. Joe Mangelina. His character is actually Arkhan the Cruel. This little guy right there, we'll go over it in more detail later. Anyway, that's his actual character that he plays. He played him in Critical Role Season 1. He does possess the Hand of Vecna. There's a little bit more here. So, for use with Dungeons & Dragons fantasy role-playing variant, this set includes Arkhan the Cruel, his Minotaur bodyguard, Toragor Steelfist, his Tortle Death Cleric Kroll, one of his Berserkers, a summoned White Abashi, and his Manticore pet, Chango. Designed by Arkhan himself, Joe Manganiello, with WizKids. These figures give you the power to bring the epic story to life. Can you trust Arkhan the Cruel and the Dark Order, or will there be war? You decide. So, his character does play a role in the book. That's all I will say, because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, let's get these figures out of here. There's Arkhan. We got one down. This is Toragor Steelfist. One way down. I got it. I believe this is the Berserker, the White Abashi, and honestly, my favorite, the Portal. And there's actually a twisty tie holding the Manticore in. Okay, Manticore is out. All right, we'll save Arkhan for last. Let's go from least cool to cool, in my opinion. We're gonna go with the Berserker. I feel like you need probably a few more of these, so I don't know if they actually have them in the box set. But I believe just having one Berserker is a little... He's got to have at least a few of these guys on the stage, right? When he's in battle. You're not just going to have one Berserker. You're going to have a few. They're kind of like his cronies, his pawns. But really cool design. I love the dragon skull mask, and definitely got the barbarian vibes with some bone armor and just the light leathers. The sword's also really cool. I like how it goes like bone into the steel. So yeah, even though it is probably my least favorite in the set, it's still really cool. Next we'll go over the White Abashi. His face looks a little messed up. I believe some of the newer Abashi figures look a little bit better than this, a lot more done. Abashis are still nothing to mess with, so the fact that he has a white one under his command is pretty sketch. Like, you know, though when I think White Abashi, I really do think white, not this kind of like orangish pinkish skin tone here, but it has the white dry brushed over it. I think I would just maybe do a little bit heavier dry brushing on it, but that's just me. Next we'll go over the Chongo. which is about the largest figure in the set. Well, it's a really solid Manticore figure. It's painted really well. Really like the stripes and I like his talons. Let me grab my Manticore. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed this, which this is the WizKids Paint Night Kit Manticore that I did go ahead and paint and do. So color wise, this one is much darker. Mine is a lot lighter. Mine looks larger in the face, but I like this face a lot better than this design's face. The wings are much larger on this one as well. Like this Manticore, I'm going to say is 10 times better than this one. Purely on design, though I kind of like my body paint job better than this with the tiger stripes. And kind of the lighter lion colors. However, I do like the wings much better. I think that they're better sculpted, better designed. I believe these are around the same year of model, so it actually surprises me that this is not the same as this. But still, both pretty solid figures. I like how this one's tail spikes are as well. I've also always been confused why it's not an actual scorpion tail in D&D, but that's just me. So yeah, Chango. I like Django. That's his name, Django Unchained. But yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, happy to have him. Next we'll go over the turtle, which still might end up being my favorite, and I think is my favorite because it's a freaking turtle and it's like this alligator snapping turtle. Like just the shell alone is beautiful. It's got these like glyphs carved into it that I'm assuming happen with magic. The metallic cloak or cape looking thing is a little weird. And he needs a little bit bigger of a shell down there, in my opinion, but still really cool. I love his, war hammer with the magic coming off. He's a death cleric, which is just awesome. He's got all his little potions and poisons and stuff down there. The chain on his tail. Well, not chain, but the wraps on his tail. There's some, I believe those are supposed to be bones in there, which is really cool. I like his little gauntlets. Yeah. And I love the color, like that light blue kind of ghostly reptile color. It's a really cool, not really like a turtle color you would normally think of, but it looks really good on this. Then we will go over the bodyguard, Torgar Steelfist. Again, I love the whole, which that's the Arkhan symbol. I don't think I pointed it out, but it is on the belt of the Berserker. I don't think it was on the Abashi or the turtle. Oh, it's on his hammer. But yeah, I like it literally like tattooed on this Minotaur's chest. The flaming swords are awesome. This is a Minotaur. This is what I think of when I think about Minotaurs. I don't have my painted Minotaurs at hand, so I can't really compare them. But I have a theory, and I firmly believe Wizards should adopt it. So because of the Minotaur race introduced into Mordenkainen's Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse, there was no stat block for a monstrous Minotaur. That is considered legacy because it's in the monster manual. Well, I don't know if it's considered legacy, but anyway, there's not a stat block for a new Minotaur. And player character Minotaurs are size medium. Obviously, this is not a size medium. This is a size large. So I have the theory that player Minotaurs are a normal race of Minotaurs. They're still Minotaurs. These are still Minotaurs. The difference is the large monstrous ones have given themselves over to their evil god. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but that's how I role play the monstrous Minotaurs in games compared to if a player character has a Minotaur. Player character is a normal functioning, basically human being, just looks like a cow. Yes, they were created by this evil god, but they have disowned him. They do not get this power influx from him. They get their powers elsewhere. Monstrous ones, devils. Not really devils, but yeah. angry beasts. I actually saw one in Baldur's Gate. I think it was in the Underdark, and it got absolutely shredded. And that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, this is definitely a really cool figure. I love Minotaur. They're one of my favorite things. Huge Greek mythology fan, so obviously gonna like Minotaurs. So finally, let's get to Arkhan himself, and this is just fantastic. This is just such a coolly designed character. Joe did a fantastic job on how he wanted this thing to look. I mean, he's a red dragonborn. He's got that kick-ass tail. For those of you that don't know and are wondering why the heck his hand is green, that is the hand of Vecna. For those of you who don't know what that means and you're thinking Stranger Things, no, Vecna is an archlich in D&D, super powerful, super terrifying, super crazy. So yeah, you know, don't want to mess with him. Don't want to mess with him in the Stranger Things world either. That guy was creepy. Really like this figure. And how cool is it that like a player's player character became an actual character in a book and then had an actual like mini mass produced by a company. Like, that's just awesome. That's like everybody's dream is like, yeah, this is my character. I love them. Cement them in actual Forgotten Realms history for all time. That's what happened with Arkhan the Cruel. So really cool set. If you can get it for 30, maybe even 40 bucks, I'd say worth it. If you can get it cheaper than that, definitely worth it. I wouldn't pay 50 or 60 for it. That seems a little out there, especially since this guy you're probably really only going to use in the Baldur's Gate campaign. Having the white Abashi though, I mean, that can be used anywhere. Same with the Minotaur. Turtle Druid, he's really creepy, but a little bit harder to plug in than the rest of them. The Berserker though, you can use pretty much anywhere you need a crazy barbarian. So as far as like usefulness in any game, these three are probably your most useful, with these two being the least useful, and this one I'm going to say a medium use. I don't see a lot of Minotaurs in game, especially not ones that look like this with the two flaming swords. But so now as far as my favorite to least favorite, my least favorite is going to be the Berserker, even though he's very well used. I just think there's a lot more cooler figures. I mean, he is essentially just a barbarian with a sword. Next, I'm going to give it to the white Abashi, only because I believe there are better Abashi figures out there. And I don't wish there was more white on it. Next, probably actually going to give it to the Minotaur, which is hard to place the Minotaur that low, but also not, because originally I thought this was probably my third or second favorite character, but then the absolute detail and the fact that I do enjoy this figure better than my own painted figure, like this is going to be the Manticore I pull out on the field if I ever use a Manticore. Maybe I'll use two and I'll use both, but yeah, this is my go-to Manticore figure right now. It is just so cool, so well done. I love the face. Manticores are one of those creatures that I like the concept, and then I see that human face and I hate it. I almost wish they just had a lion head. And that's like the biggest letdown for me on this figure, is how human that head is. But this looks monstrous. This doesn't look that human, and I like it. I really like the design on that. So that's why it is taking, actually not the third spot. Third spot's going to go to Arkhan. As much as I love Arkhan, he's not my character, so I just can't love him that much. No, I really fell in love with this Manticore, so it's going to take the second spot. And this guy's going to take the first, because the Death Cleric is awesome. Turtle, awesome. Death Cleric, Turtle, awesome. And then he looks like this. That's just so freaking cool. So that's gonna wrap this one up. We will be back to normal icons openings. We still have some Santa stones, only one more Baron box though, so that one will be ending soon, and then we'll just kind of open the Santa stones and then we'll go from there. But I will catch y'all later. Peace.